Have you ever looked at a Mugen character and wondered why the fuck this character works the way it does? Well, that's what we're going to explore on today's quote-unquote episode of Mugen Character Analysis. Starting with Franko, the character created by the nun under his old alias, Most Mysterious. Obviously, it's a Most Mysterious character, so it's obviously going to have some quirks that make it separate from the typical character of the era. Franko is a 4-button character, or a 6-button if you want to count moves like this and this. Franko is a tall-figured character, meaning he's obviously going to turn into combo food for any character with a good combo. And thankfully, he gets to trade this off very well, as his normals have great range attached to them. His light kick is genuinely amazing. It has a good disjoint to it, which allows it to poke opponents from a distance, as well as its ability to start combos incredibly well. It also has the unique property of being a low, meaning that the opponent can't just block it while standing, and they have to block while crouching. This alone makes it an incredibly good mix-up move, as while you can't spam it like you can with Franko's punches, it's an incredible tool that can be used to do a lot for Franko, and it accounts for the fact that, well, he's tall, so obviously he needs the range. Franko's medium kick, on the other hand, is not good. It's a natural combo, meaning that once it hits once, it will hit twice, though this doesn't always work. With some characters, the second hit of medium kick will just completely whiff, making this move kinda bad in what it's meant to be as a combo extender. This is supposed to say 6 hits, however, it's not really good at extending combos, which causes it to give up time for the opponent to block the move. Overall, while the move is a good combo extender, it does not have range, and it's also very poor at its job. And it's just as easy to block the upcoming combo and punish yourself. On the other hand, Franko's punches are, again, a mixed bag. His standing punch, or light punch, it gets his job done. It's an all-purpose, but with some characters you can very easily just crouch and it'll evade you very well. Unlike Dink Smallwood, the move also doesn't have a low variant, meaning that you're very likely going to whiff this move on characters with a smaller stature than Fiunn. It does its job at starting combos and stuff, but it doesn't have the same utility that Light Kick has in terms of, the starting combo part. It also lacks range, except for the range variant, which is, yeah, it's pretty easy to see why you would just, use Light Kick. But overall, it's meh, much like his medium kick. Franko's medium punch, on the other hand, is pretty fucking good. While the sprite doesn't show it to have that big of a range, the hitbox is much more disjointed than the move appears. It also leaves the opponent in a decent amount of hit stun, which allows it to combo into Franko's other moves. And Franko's combos, if you couldn't tell already, are pretty damaging. That's not to say the move itself doesn't have a range variant like with his light punch. It does have a range variant, and it's not good. If I were fighting against, say, Dooby Dummy, then this move would connect, but since I'm fighting a character with a smaller stature, it doesn't work. This also means that ranged combos with Light Kick are a lot more primitive, since you're not really going to get much of a follow-up off of that. On top of that, Light Kick itself isn't good at comboing into Franko's specials as much as it does with his normals, which means that, from a range, Franko is definitely going to struggle unless he can poke the opponent. Though, there is one good part about the close-up variant. It's an overhead, meaning that you can mix up your opponent into thinking that, oh, you are going to go for a light kick, so I'm going to crouch. And then, medium punch is an overhead, so it won't work. This is a very good tool for Franko. It allows him to mix up the opponent's blocks and start combos way easier. It is a pretty good move. unless you're using the range variant, in which case it's not a good move. Franco's crouch attacks are, alright. His light kick isn't anything to call home about. It looks bad on paper, but the hit stun can easily help it lead into a medium kick or medium punch. Medium kick is, bad. It puts the opponent into a tripping animation, but you can't really combo off of it well, since it doesn't lend itself well to comboing at all. You can't even combo it into his supers, which makes it only good for finishing combos off of, you know, off of his light attacks while crouching. And it's not a good move. You definitely would be better off just comboing it into any of his other moves. Franco's light punch is good. It definitely makes up for the poking problem that is presented by his light punch while standing, and it makes comboing off of it a lot easier. Yeah, this is just a better light punch while standing. Need I say more? Franco's medium punch, on the other hand, is a genuinely amazing tool. While it doesn't look good on paper, it does a lot for Franco. The hitbox comes out ridiculously quickly and has good vertical range extending upward to the summit of Franco's arm, which allows it to start combos and do a whole lot more stuff for Franco that, you know, medium kick just doesn't do. While medium kick isn't on the ground, medium punch is a combo starter. And it's very good at doing that. In fact, the move also doubles as a get off me tool due to its velocity against characters who are airborne. That trajectory is insane, and it makes it very good as an anti-air. Its fast startup allows it to function as a good anti-air too, and its lingering hitbox makes it very good in that regard. Overall, it's a great tool, and it helps Franco get the opponent off of him, which is something that he kind of struggles to do. Oh, and this move exists. It's a good combo ender. There's not much of a problem with it. It's good at ending combos, and that's really its only purpose. Also, it's the only move that light kick can naturally combo into that isn't, well, one of his normals. Or light punch, which makes it pretty good as a poke tool. It is unsafe, though, so be wary of that. I should probably touch on Franco's system moves, since they're very interesting. Franco has a burst, activated by pressing either both light and medium punch, or heavy punch. It's interesting, and it functions strangely depending on how you're being hit and what state you're in. If you're in hit stun while using burst, the move does not award you any power and is referred to as a blue burst. Meanwhile, if you're not in hit stun or block stun and you use the move will award full power. Why did that take me so long to say? The move itself is unblockable, which makes it very good as an unexpected get-off-me tool, and the burst will gradually restore as Franco himself gets hit.
Jezu, co za kurwa fartów No ja jebie w pizdu jebana kurwa mać!
Franco also has a dodge. This is a genuinely amazing dodge. It doesn't look like it, but Franco is actually invulnerable for the entire duration of the dodge. This makes it incredible as a get-off-me tool, and it can also allow Franco to mix up the opponent and do unexpected things that, you know, that he kind of struggles to do. You can also use it during block stun for 500 power. It's good, and it makes Franco's defensive game a lot better than fucking Melee Bowser. Franco also has a parry. You can make your chances of a successful parry a lot better by just spamming forward, which is typically what I do. And, yeah, it's an okay parry. It gives Franco frame advantage, which allows him to punish the opponent if he gets a successful parry off, but nonetheless, it's a parry. Need I say more? Franco's specials are a very mixed bag, somehow even more so than his normals. Beer is it's a slow projectile. It's not the best at doing its job, but it nonetheless serves as one of Franco's only projectiles. His hand itself also has a hitbox as he hits the can, but it's a very situational move. It can also restore Franco's health if he's damaged. It also gives him power, which is the only thing Franco has that naturally awards him power, except for burst, but it's very impractical. You should only ever use this if your opponent is either in hit stun or from a range. And nonetheless, it's very bad. It's serviceable, but at the same time, it's not the best projectile, and it makes Franco's range game a whole lot worse than what it would typically be, since, you know, he already has the option to just rush down the opponent and... Franco's laser uppercut is fucking ridiculous. That is the hitbox. That hitbox extends incredibly far vertically and horizontally, and it gives Franco an insanely good anti-air, albeit a blockable anti-air. Still, nonetheless, you can use this move multiple times in a combo, and it does an insane amount of damage each time. It's a borderline insane move, and it makes Franco's game a whole lot better when it comes to comboing, since, you know, a very fucking high damage option is going to naturally lend itself well to a character that can start those combos incredibly well. True Face of Alcohol is a move. This puddle does no damage. I'm not kidding, it doesn't do any damage at all. It merely trips the opponent like his medium kick does. Except, unlike with his medium kick, this does no damage. It's not really good. You can imagine them as being similar to Dee Bee Kaw's traps, but the only difference is
You'll
that...
feel the bite of that one any moment.
You just don't get anything off of them once, you know, they connect.
Oh shit, it's Robert from King of Fighters.
Ja jebie w pizdu jebana kurwa mać!
If you thought the medium punch version is any better than the light punch version, you're wrong. That is an awfully long startup, and the payoff really is not worth it. While it can trap the opponent, you're not really going to get much out of it, as well as the simple fact that that startup is atrocious. In fact, Mr. Funny's main projectile, while it's slow, can punish Franco from across the entire fucking stage. That is ridiculous, and you should probably never use this move for such a purpose. Overall, the move is bad. It's one of those moves that you just never use. Hard Skull is one of Franco's only 2 command grabs, and it's pretty good. The visual effect there is pretty funny, but at the same time, the move does a lot. When it lands, it can put the opponent into a pretty hazardous position since they are closer to the corner, which can help Franco do things like... However, unusually for a command grab, you can block it. I don't get why it's blockable. I do not remember it being like this, but it definitely makes the move a lot riskier to go for.
Co za chuj!
But yeah, it's a decent burst option for Franco, not like this. And it allows him to... You have an option where you can just unexpectedly use it and attempt to get in on the opponent. Though obviously it comes with
No
its
ja
own
jebie
perils.
w pizdu jebana kurwa mać!
Hurricane Kick's light version just kind of exists. It's not really good. It's good as a combo ender, but at the same time, you have the medium version, which is a whole lot better. Not only can you occasionally combo off of it, but it's an excellent combo ender that does a lot of damage. It's also a lot harder to punish than it looks, as the animation ending it is, This is the first frame where Franco is active once the move ends. That is an incredibly low end lag, and it lets the move be a lot safer than it looks. A lot safer than Hard Skull, in fact, which, coupled with the block damage it does, makes it a genuinely good move, not unlike its light variant. And yeah, Hurricane Kick is an excellent combo extender, combo ender. It does a lot for Franco. Franco's rakes are pretty interesting. The rakes themselves are unblockable in the air, and Franco's leg itself also has a hitbox while the move is winding. Yeah, the rakes are unblockable, which can make them an infinite, but I'm not going to show off the infinite because it'd be boring. Very uniquely, this move can be comboed into. Well, the leg part of it, but not the rakes. The move is also an overhead. In fact, it's the only other overhead Franco has outside of... In that regard, it's... The medium variant summons 2 rakes, which has its uses in doing more damage, but at the same time, this is just a whole lot better. Since, obviously, the faster speed at which the projectiles come out, and Franco's leg, makes it a lot more practical to use the light version instead of the medium version. Franco's whip, it exists. This move is not good at all, and I don't think you should ever use it. Unless your opponent is trying to jump in the corner, but you're only going to get so much out of it since, you know, Franco suffers a lot of pushback during the move itself. Even against larger opponents where the main hitbox itself can actually hit, you're still wildly vulnerable to punishes. Dooby Dummy's hit stun ends there, while Franco is still an end lag from the move itself.
A ty farcie pierdolony!
Yeah, this move is really fucking bad, and I don't think it's very practical. It has niche use as an anti-air, but like, why? The pushback makes it too bad. Well, it's okay-ish if you're trying to get into a defensive position, but at the same time, you have so many better options for an anti-air. It's not worth it to use this move too much. Now we can talk about Franco Supers, and 3 of them have button-dependent variants. That being this, and this. Let's start with the first one out of them, the Andrew Leperhead. They are not very good. They do more damage when they hit at the same time rather than in segments because of the way Franco's damage is, the way it works. This move sucks. There's really not many scenarios where it's practical, and you can even be hit up close if you're trying to use it since, you know, the starting lag is atrocious. Yeah, it's not worth using this move too much. The level 2 variant makes the heads come out in larger sizes, but, like, that is the wrong move. The damage is not worth it at all, because Franco has a lot of better options for damage. Fuck, a normal combo could do just as much damage as that. Thankfully, the level 3 variant is a lot better. Think of that as functioning similar to Omega Tiger Woods' Shrimp Bus. The only difference is that Omega Tiger Woods' Shrimp Bus only costs 1,500 power to use.
Gonna kick some ass.
Before Franko comes on, I'm like, what the fuck?
Jezu, co za kurwa
And it
fartus
also does less
pierdolony.
damage than Franco's, though granted, it's because Franco's is a level 3. What do you want it to do, huh? Franco's also has less chances of being, you know, blockable, since the move itself is completely unblockable, and the hitbox is, accurate. Yeah, this move, in its level 3 variant, this move is seriously good. And it's very similar to another one of Franco's moves that I will cover in a decent moment, but overall, the level 3 variant of Andrew Leopardheads is probably the only version you should actually be using. Franco's other level 1, or one of Franco's 2 other button-dependent hypers is this. It's actually pretty decent. It's a mid, meaning you have to block it while standing, since it's air unblockable. And it's a very good move in that regard, since it stuffs out aerial approaches very well, and the hitbox lingers for a decent amount of time. That is some good duration, and it allows the move to function as a much better anti-air than most of his normals or specials. Though obviously, 1,000 power is still 1,000 power. The move's variants increase it in size, much like the Andrew Leopardheads. I did not mean to use that. Obviously, the larger size will make it much better as an anti-air. And the level 3 is, obviously, all of them share the same duration, but that doesn't subtract from the fact that, you know, the larger size can do a lot for Franco. But yeah, the move itself is pretty good. There's not much to say about it. You can think of it as similar to KFM's Kung Fu Upper Hyper, but it increases in size the stronger you use it. And yeah, that's it. The last move that is button dependent for strength is Wild Head, which is a buffed version of Hard Skull. It's interesting. It is a command grab much akin to Hard Skull, which means that it also can be blocked for some stupid reason. However, unlike Hard Skull, this move's capabilities for comboing are much better. And it can also do that, where the ending hit just completely misses if you're too close to the corner. Sometimes, the resulting hits that you try to do after the move will just completely whiff, which kind of ruins its capabilities. With the level 2 variant, there were a lot more hits. It also has a greater propensity to miss due to the faster speed Franco travels. And, yeah. The level 3 variant trades off combo ability for putting the opponent in the corner, and also doing a fuck ton of damage, much like his level 3 Leopardheads. This can be very advantageous for Franco, since, you know, being in the corner isn't the best for any character.
O ty farcie pierdolony.
And yeah, it does its job. It's similarly punishable in the way Hard Skull is.
Co za chuj.
Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
But, you know, it's a decent burst option. Its speed makes it pretty unpredictable, and it's also unblockable in the air in a similar fashion to his middle finger. It's decent. Franco has a Proton Cannon, and it's not good. I think it goes without saying that if the move itself whiffs on a fuck ton of opponents, then it has a problem. Its one saving grace is that if you manage to hit the opponent while they're in the air, they can't block it, which results in it doing a lot of damage. The problem is, most of the people that will be jumping are small in stature, like Fiunn here. Against larger opponents that the move itself can actually hit, like Dooby Dummy, they can just block it and take no damage. And up close, the move itself just does not hit.
Come on, you stupid ass bastard.
And it's not a good move at all. Again, it can be blocked and do no damage. It's really not worth it to use this move. It's not good at its job, and, you know, it has a lot of poor qualities that make it just bad. Not good. Awful. Franco does have an exceed that he can use when his health is 400 or lower. It is this. It's unblockable, and it's pretty good. Though granted, obviously you can still parry it and stuff. The move is not without its strange quirks and drawbacks that make it pretty hazardous to use. One of its many strange quirks is that you can use the move with as little as no power and it'll still work. I did not mean for that to happen. What I meant to say was that you can use the move with as little as no power and it'll still work, though it will consume all of your power bar in order to do so. One of the move's various drawbacks is that you can hit Franco as he's jumping up and things can happen. That was also what I did not mean for it to do. What I meant to say was that you can hit Franco while the move is in its startup and it can... It can do that. Which, yeah, it's...
Goodbye, 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 everybody.
If you hit Franco at the very, very start of his ascent, he can also just outright not spawn the fucking car that is supposed to hit you. Wrong move.
And the meal of today is
This will take so many. See, the funny part about recording this is that I'm doing it all in one go, which makes this a complete fucking nightmare to do.
And the meal of today is
You know what? Just take my word for it. You can hit Franco during the very, very start of the move, and the car will just not spawn. I'm not going to torment myself in order to show you that that is possible, but just know that is possible. Franco can also hit his teammates in a simul match if he uses the move, since for some reason Franco kind of forgot to turn friendly fire off when he was playing a simul match and consciously decided, okay, you know what, let's just hit our teammates. Burst can also do that. The move has friendly fire properties off, or on, because most Mysterious is kind of that way. So, yeah, thank you for watching. That is the entirety of Franco summarized in one go, and my name's SirArski123. I'm out.